Mavis's story. Salty and Mavis were at the works getting repainted. Salty was being repainted NWR red with Salty written on the rear of him. He also had SEC and D5 written on his cap. Mavis had asked to be repainted NWR blue with red side plates. Salty watched as workmen repainted her name and D4 on her cap. "That's a good look, beauty," he said. "Thanks. I've been BR black since I was built." Then he noticed that they were also repainting the Farquhar Corico lettering on her side plates. "I thought you were one of the captain's engines." "I am," she replied, "but I still keep my old company lettering. I have fond memories in that quarry. Would you like to hear my story?" "I've never had a tale told to me before," said Salty. "Go ahead, me hearty." And this is the story Mavis told. Mavis had worked at Farquhar Quarry since she arrived on Sodor. Thanks to Toby's help, she handled the shunting so well, the workmen say she could do it with her eyes closed. One day in 1968, the quarry got a new manager, and he took a dislike towards Mavis. "This diesel is old and out of date," he said. "The time has come to buy a new diesel. I'm putting her up for sale, maybe even for scrap value." Mavis was most upset. The workmen and her driver tried to reason with him, but he wouldn't listen. "You won't let him scrap me?" asked Mavis. "Of course not," said her driver. "We'll think of something." The next day, Mavis got another shock when her replacement arrived. "Good morning," said Devious Diesel in his oily voice. "I'm doing the work now. Your new manager is the first person I've met on this island that makes sense. He wants a revolutionary diesel now." Mavis and her driver were furious, and they weren't the only ones. Later, Sir Topham Hatt came, and he spoke to the manager. "That diesel is not welcome back on my railway," he said. "He is known for his tricks." "I've been told he is a changed diesel, and can do more work with no problems." The Fat Controller wasn't sure, and ordered that diesel is to stay in the quarry at all times. Then he looked at Mavis. "What will happen to Mavis?" he asked the manager. "She'll be sold as soon as I get an offer. Some scrapyards are interested." Mavis's wheel shivered. "I can't allow a really useful engine be scrapped," he said. "Would you like to come and work for me?" "Oh yes sir, please sir," said Mavis. "That's a good engine. Since Duck has left to run his branch line, Knapford has needed a new pilot engine." The workmen cheered and Mavis gave the biggest smile in days. The Fat Controller even offered her driver a job, so he could stay with his friend. While Sir Topham Hatt and the manager dealt with the paperwork, two workmen found some old tins of white paint and wrote D4 on her cap. Next morning, Mavis went to work at Knapford. Percy taught her what to do, but she picked up her new duties very quickly. For the next few days, Mavis handled all the shunting with no problem. Even Gordon, Henry and James were impressed. But in the quarry, things weren't going well for Diesel. On his first day, Diesel bragged to the trucks. "When that worthy fat ass Sir Topham Hatt sees how good I am, he'll regret buying that lunchbox on wheels and get rid of all those out-of-date kettles as well." The trucks were cross. They liked Mavis, so they started making a plan. Not long after, Diesel started bumping the trucks hard. But after he did, the trucks started laughing and singing at him. "Trucks are waiting in the yard, tackling them with Diesel. Show the world what I can do, gaily boasted Diesel. In and out he creeps about, like a big black weasel. When he pulls the one trucks out, pop goes the Diesel." Diesel was cross. He didn't want to be reminded of that song. Over the next few days, the trucks continued to laugh and sang every time Diesel bumped them. One day, the Fat Controller came to see Mavis. "I'd like you to take me to Farquhar Quarry, please. The manager's asked to see me at once." Why do you want me to take you, sir? Wait and see. When they arrived, Mavis was surprised. The trucks were everywhere and still singing rudely at Diesel. At last, Diesel lost patience. "Shut up," he ordered, and bumped some trucks hard. The trucks derailed and blocked many sidings. "You silly engine," shouted the manager. "No wonder you were half price. You don't know the first thing about shunting trucks." "If I may," suggested the Fat Controller, "I know some heritage railways in Britain that could use a diesel shunter. Maybe working with them, he can learn some manners." Diesel was cross, but he decided to keep his mouth shut. The manager begged Sir Topham Hatt to sell Mavis back to him. "After seeing how you treat engines, I don't think that would be the best idea. But I will let you rent my engines to shunt here until you get another engine." Since that day, Mavis has continued to work in Knapford, and she and the other Farquhar engines take it in turns to shunt at the quarry. But Mavis enjoys her new life on Sir Topham Hatt's railway. And as for the manager, he had to leave his job and left the island. The new manager has also said that they'll never bring Diesel back again. After Mavis finished her story, Salty was impressed. "Good to see the captain of this railway knows how to take care of his crew," said Salty. "He does. I'm pleased to be one of his engines." "This is a tale I like to tell," said Salty, and the two of them talked all night long.